Hey guys, welcome back. Today's topic is going to be a pretty tough one. It's very similar to what we have been doing with the two-step equations, but now we're going to see equations that have variables on both sides, and that means both sides of the equal sign. You're not really used to seeing questions like this up until this point. In all of your math classes, you've only seen a variable. When I say variable, I mean a letter, usually an X, a Y, a W, a K, an N, whatever. They will usually only be on one side of the equal sign, but now we're going to start to see them on both sides of the equal sign. So here are the steps that I like to follow in order to solve these. Now there are alternate ways to solve these, and that is fine, but this is the way that I feel like is the most consistently going to give you an easy time solving the problem. Step one, I want to undo the variable from the right-hand side of the equal sign. I'll show you what that means in a second. Step two, I want to undo the constant. The constant is just the plain old number, the regular number that doesn't have the X or the Y or the whatever on it. I'm going to undo the constant from the left-hand side of the equation. And then finally, number three, I'm going to undo the multiplying or dividing. Usually it's multiplying that you're undoing with division, but we will do that at the very end. So instead of being a two-step equation, now we have a three-step equation. And so this is a really important topic in my class because it really sets you up for Algebra 1 in the future. My students who are in my Algebra 1 class, they do this stuff at the very beginning of the year, and it's a very important skill to have. If you don't have this skill down in Algebra 1, it's going to be something that you really need to work on. So here's what these questions will look like. You can see we have variables. When I say variables, I mean letters, right? X's on both sides of the equal sign. You're not used to seeing that. You usually just see one here, or you see something over here on the right. I doubt you've seen variables on both sides of the equal sign very often. So that is going to possibly confuse a few people when they first see it. Don't let it bother you. Okay, remember, we have a list of steps, and you are completely free to go back and pause the video right here at this timestamp anytime you need to see these steps. Step one, undo the variable from the right-hand side. Okay. So what that means is, on the right-hand side, I have this variable, right, 2x's. Some people put little arrows by it. Some people put a little box around it to kind of highlight it. You don't have to do that, but I like to do that sometimes. I want to undo this. How can I undo 2x's? What's going to be the opposite of having 2x's? How could I cancel this out and make it equal 0 x's, right? I don't want to have any x's on the right-hand side. I'm not used to seeing that. And so what can I do to make 2x's disappear? I asked this question in class today, and the most common answers I got were you could subtract or you could divide, right? If I divided by 2x, does 2 divided by 2, does that equal 0? No. 2x divided by 2x, anything divided by itself equals 1. And so I don't want this to equal 1. I want this to equal 0. And so the best method is to subtract, right? 2x minus 2x is going to equal 0. And so step one is always going to be adding or subtracting. Adding or subtracting. I'm going to get rid of this box here just so it doesn't get in the way. So 2x minus 2x, if I do it on the right-hand side of the equal sign, I have to do it on the left-hand side of the equal sign. Now think about this. Where should it go on the left-hand side? Should I subtract 2x's here? Or should I subtract 2x's here underneath the 5? Which one would make more sense? The one that makes the most sense is, since this has an x on it, I have to go underneath the other one that has an x on it, right? I can't do 5. I couldn't do it here because this is just a regular 5, a constant, and this has an x on it. So x's can only go underneath other x's, and plain old numbers we call constants. Those can go underneath other plain old numbers, but you can't put the x underneath the 5, right? And so now we can just do this. 6x's minus 2x's, that is 4x's. Oh man, that marker is not working well. Let me switch to yellow. I think the yellow one's pretty good. Yeah, there we go. 6x's minus 6x's minus 2x's is 4. The minus 5 doesn't have anything underneath it, so I'm just going to drop that down. The equal sign is still here in the middle. And here 2x minus 2x equals 0. I cross it out because it equals 0. Not because it looks cool, not because it's fun to cross it out. I cross it out because it equals 0. If it doesn't equal 0 right here, you know you've messed up and you need to think about, okay, maybe I picked the wrong operation. Maybe I should have done something else. But this does work. 2x minus 2x equals 0. And so I have 0 plus 7, and that just equals 7. Okay. Now, once you get to this point, you are probably used to seeing questions like this, right? This is a two-step equation. I have done step 1. I've completed this. Undo the variable from the right-hand side. Now, step 2, undo the constant from the left-hand side. The constant is the plain old number. The constant is, in this case, the subtracting 5, right? This is not technically called a constant because it has the x on it, right? And so I'm going to do, instead of minus 5, I want to undo subtracting 5. How can I undo subtracting 5? I can undo subtracting with addition. And whatever you do on the left-hand side, you better do the same thing on the right-hand side. Look pretty good? And so the 4x doesn't have anything underneath it. I'm going to save that for the end. I'm going to make that 4 times x just to help me. Negative 5 and positive 5 equals 0. I'm crossing it out because it equals 0. Equal sign is still there. 7 plus 5 is 12. Okay. I have completed step 2. Undo the constant from the left-hand side. Boom, I did it. Okay, do you see how that looks? The right-hand side, you should be canceling out the variable term, the term that has a variable on it. On the left-hand side, you should cancel out the constant term, the term that just has the plain old number, right? There's no x or y or anything on it. And what you're left with is a lot of times a mental math problem, but if you're not the best with mental math, 4 times something equals 12. I'm ready for step 3. Undo the multiplying or division. And so this is multiplying. The 4 is being multiplied by x. I want to undo that with division. Divided by 4, divided by 4. Over here, I crossed it out because it equals 1. Since this is multiplying, I will never get it to equal 0, but I'll get it to equal 1. And 1x is the same thing as just x, right? You've learned that before in math class. Because 1x is the same thing as x, because anything times 1 is itself. And here's our real answer. 12 divided by 4, that's 3. And here is my perfect answer, x equals 3. Now, if you are somebody who really wants to check your answer, you want to be really confident that you got it right, you don't want to have any doubt in your mind that you got it right. I love these questions because you can always go back and check your work, right? We said the answer was 3. If I go all the way back here to the top and I put 3 right here, and if I put a 3 right here, that's multiplying, right? 6. Look what I would have. 6 times 3 minus 5. And over here, if I put a 3, I would have 2 times 3 plus 7. If we work out both of these problems right here, we should get the same answer on both sides of the equal sign. If we do not get the same answer, that's a clue that we made a mistake somewhere. So right here, 18 is what 6 times 3 is, right? 6 times 3 is 18. 18 minus 5, that is 13. I'm just going to erase that so it doesn't get in the way. That side is 13. Over here, I should get 13 as well. If I don't get 13, I know I've done it wrong. 2 times 3, that's 6. 6 plus 7, does that equal 13? Yeah, 6 plus 7 equals 13. And so I know I got it right because I got 13 on both sides. I don't need to use my phone. I don't need to ask my friend. I don't need to check it on whatever app or website I'm going to use to check it. I don't need to look it up in the back of the book. I use my own brain and I found the right answer. Okay, so that's how you're going to do these. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit faster on these other examples, but if you need to slow it down and rewind it and watch it a couple times through, that's okay. Remember, here's our steps. Part 1, undo the variable from the right-hand side. Number 2, undo the constant from the left-hand side. And then number 3, undo the multiplying or dividing. So here we go. Step 1, I want to undo the variable from the right-hand side. First, I need to find the variable on the right-hand side. It's right here. The letter x is the variable on the right-hand side. So I'm going to undo this. How do I undo 4x's? What could I do to 4x's to make it equal 0, to make it disappear? I could do minus 4x, right? It's always going to be adding or subtracting right here. Whatever you do to the right-hand side, you do it to the left-hand side. And the x's have to line up underneath the other x's. I can't put x's here because that doesn't have an x on it. 7x minus 4x is 3x's. The minus 10, I'm just going to drop it down. It doesn't have anything underneath it. The equal sign, just dropping it down. Here, this better equal 0. 4x minus 4x. Yes, 4 minus 4 is 0. And so 0 plus 5 is 5. Step 1 is complete. Undo the variable from the right-hand side, right? There is no more variable on the right-hand side of the equal sign. I've got it taken care of. Now I'm going to go on the left-hand side and undo the constant. This is the constant right here. This is the plain old number. Instead of subtracting 10, I want to do adding 10. Instead of subtracting 10, I'm going to do adding 10 on the left and on the right. Over here, the 3x doesn't have anything with it. Negative 10 and plus 10 equals 0. The equal sign is still there. 5 plus 10 is 15. And now we're done with step 2. Step 3, this is really being multiplied, right? I'm going to undo the multiplying with dividing. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. And then here's your answer. 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Right? That equals 5. If you wanted to check your work, could you check that really fast? If I put 5 right here, 7 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35. 35 minus 10 is 25. If I put a 5 right here, 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 5 is 25. So see, I got it. Perfect. Whoops, smiley face looks a little bad. Answer, 5. Okay, let's do 2 more, and then we'll be done. I don't want this video to get too long. This one, it has the x in the middle here. That's okay, don't let that bother you. It's got this x kind of with a negative on it. That's okay too. Step 1, remember, undo the variable from the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, I found my variable. It's right here. How can I undo this? This is a negative 6x. How can I undo negative 6x? Instead of negative 6, I could do adding 6, right? Or positive 6. Whatever you do on one side, you better do it on the other side. Don't put it here because there's no x's on this. You better put it right here where the other x's have to line up with the other x's, just like that. Okay. The 12, just drop it down. Here, you've got a little math to do. Some people get confused because they're like, wait, this is subtracting and this is adding. Is this a subtracting sign or a negative sign? It honestly doesn't matter how you think of it. When I like to think of it, I like to think of this as negative 12 plus 6, right? Negative 12x's plus 6 would be negative 6x's. And then here it equals 0. Negative 6 and positive 6 cancel each other out. And so you have 0 plus 48, and that is 48. Step 1 is complete. Step 2, I'm going to undo the constant from the right-hand side. The constant is not this, because this has the x on it. The constant is this right here. What do I need to do to this 12? Some people see this and they think, oh, it's being subtracted, so you want to add. Well, hold your horses. If I added this right here, would that equal 0? Does 12 plus 12 equal 0? No, 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 no. This minus sign goes with the x's. This is a positive 12, and so I need to do subtracting, and my orange marker is starting to fade on me here. You're going to need to do minus 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. Over here, 48 minus 12 is 36. And then this, it was subtracting, but I'm just going to drop it down, and it just kind of magically looks like a negative sign now. Negative 6x equals 36. Apologize about my orange marker starting to fade. And finally, I'm going to undo this. This is being multiplied. Negative 6 times x. I'm going to undo multiplying with dividing. And here, anything divided by itself equals 1. 1 times x is the same thing as x. 36 divided by negative 6, when the signs are different, your answer is negative, and then 36 divided by 6 is 6. Okay, I'm not going to check my answer on that one. I don't want to take this too much time on this video. Negative 6 is correct. Okay, I want to do one more, and then we will stop. And I hope you're starting to get the flow of these. On number 4, undo the variable from the right-hand side. Here's the variable term on the right-hand side. How can I make this equal 0? Don't look at this. This goes with the 20. This is 5x. How can I get rid of 5x's? I can subtract them, right? If I did plus right here, 5 plus 5 would equal 10. That's not going to help me. I want it to equal 0. So I'm going to do minus 5x on both sides. Okay, here the 10 doesn't have anything underneath it. Drop it down. This is really hard for a lot of the kids in my classes. This right here. Someone's like, well, this is subtracting and this is subtracting, or this is a negative and this is... Don't let that throw you off, right? This is like negative 5 and negative 5. Negative 5 and negative 5 make negative 10 x's. Right here, 5 minus 5 is 0. And so 0 minus 20 is negative 20. We're done with step 1. We have undone the variable on the right-hand side. Now we're going to go to the left-hand side. Over here, we're going to get rid of the constant. This is not the constant term because it has the x. The constant is this guy. How can I get rid of 10? I can do minus 10. I can do minus 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. And so this is just going to drop down, the minus 10x. Here, negative 20 minus 10 more, that is negative 30. That's a hard one for a lot of kids in my classes. Use your calculator if you need help. That's okay. And then here we have multiplying. Undo the multiplying with the inverse of multiplying, which is dividing. Negative 30 divided by negative 10. When the signs are the same, the answer is positive, and the answer is 3. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you're in my class, I'm going to put some questions on the McGraw-Hill's website for you to give a try. If you're not the best at this, that's okay. I'll make the assignment so you can try it multiple times in case you don't do so well on the first try. This is really tough, but give it your best guess. Go back and watch these problems, rewind it, pause it, do whatever you need. Email me if you need help, and I will catch you guys in another video. Thank you so much for watching this one, guys.